Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our webinar will begin in just a few minutes. While you're waiting, feel free to review our program information at csudh.edu/CEIE/PM. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anissa Barton Thompson, and I'm the social media specialist for the College of Extended and International Education here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'll be your host for this presentation. Welcome. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our social media and website shortly after this session. Feel free to download the Project Management Certificate Programs Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources covered in this webinar. The address is bit.ly/CSUDH-PM-InfoKit. We have provided a link in the chat for those who are participating live. It will also be available via a follow-up email to attendees as well as on our website. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in a webinar format, so you don't need to worry about connecting your microphone or your camera. It's just to help us. So in order for us to address your questions, feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you are joining us from the Zoom desktop app or the web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you're on a mobile device. Please ask your questions in the Q&A panel rather than in the chat panel. In the chat panel, we'll be providing links and other information for you. Now, once you click that Q&A button, a dialog box will open, allowing you to type your question. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Bukian and Keith Otterberg, are standing by to assist. We'll be answering those questions at the end of the session, although oftentimes you may find the question you have has been answered during the program overviews. Okay. So just to go over our agenda for today, we're going to meet our instructors for the Project Management Certificate Program. We're going to review the benefits, the opportunities, and the key audience that should be addressed. And we're going to take a look at those programs in detail, including course information, schedules, registration details, and all of the works. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the end to make sure that you're comfortable and you have all of your questions addressed. So at this point, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tamo Wilkins. Tamo, take it away. And
there we go.
Had
to unmute. Thank you, Anissa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted that you've chosen to join us for this information session. I will be talking about our project management programs tonight. I started this program in the spring of 2007 and have been teaching it ever since then. Since the program had grown significantly at the beginning, we brought Dr. Kamal Inamdar on board to teach this program as well. He was unable to join us today, but I'd like to give you just a brief overview of his bio. Dr. Inabdar has over 30 years experience in various industries, including engineering, manufacturing management, and finance, as well as project management. He holds a bachelor's degree in metallurgical engineering, a master's degree in business administration, and a doctorate degree in education. He is teaching at several campuses. His experience and training serve him very well for teaching this program, and I'm sure that you will enjoy his engaging personality. He is currently teaching this program in ongoing classes that started a few weeks ago. At this point, I would like to introduce myself and give you a brief overview of who I am. Excuse me. So I've worked for over 46 years in industry, including 31 years of experience in project management. I've worked on various types of projects, including software development, engineering, and construction. I've worked for both owners and for contractors, and I've worked in both private industry as well as government projects. So I've seen project management from all kinds of perspectives and directions. Each of these environments, software, engineering, construction, owner, contractor, private, or government, have their own challenges and ways of doing things. So I'd like to say I've been around the block a few times. I've also lectured and presented papers in multiple areas of project management, and I am considered a subject matter expert in planning and scheduling, as well as earned value management. All of this allows me to bring my vast arsenal of personal anecdotes from the trenches into the classroom. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will help you make the connection between the academics that we teach you and the actual practice of project management. As for this program, well, as I already mentioned, I developed it some years ago. And at this point, I'd like to just show you a couple of the projects that I have worked on to give you an idea of my background. So some while ago, I went into Google Maps, and with the satellite view, I looked at the various projects that I had worked on. And this one is an aerial view of my favorite project. It's a waste wood burning power plant. Our client is buying waste wood and generating electricity to make money. So our client is known as an independent power producer. This is my favorite project of all the projects I've been blessed to work on. So you will be hearing quite a bit about it during the program, as well as my other projects. So I'm also happy to say that I personally am now an independent power producer myself. A few years ago, I added solar panels on my roof. So now I sell electricity to SoCal Edison. How cool is that? Love it. So this next slide here shows a street view from Google Maps of the same project. I went around all the different projects that I had worked on over the years, and I went on Google Maps, either satellite or street view. So here's a street view, and it brings back so many memories because it makes me feel like, yeah, there it is. I'm standing right there in front of it. Another project that I worked on is much closer to home, and that is the Diamond Valley Reservoir near Hemet in California. This is another satellite view from Google Maps, and what Metropolitan Water District did was to dam up a valley between two mountain ranges. So the straight lines you see on the east and on the west side are dams that were built to make sort of an enclosed water bottle, as we call it. And what NWD wanted to do was to provide an emergency water supply on the west side of the San Andreas Fault in case that ever gave way, so that the LA area would have 6 months of emergency water supply. And then the next slide shows us a ground view picture that I took some years ago. Again, looking east, and all the way over in the distance, you can see the East Dam. So I'm standing on top of the West Dam. And that structure there in the middle is what makes the connection between the water and the pumping station that pumps the water up and down. One of my exciting projects that I worked on was on the East Coast in New York City. And what this slide here now shows us is a crosscut of Grand Central Station. And the light gray area is the existing old station that's been around for many, many years. And below that, in yellow, you see a couple of new train rooms, what we call the East Train Room and the West Train Room. It's a brand new station built in the granite of Manhattan. The dark gray area is actually solid granite. The whole island of Manhattan is nothing but one big block of granite. So the little in-cut view in the next slide show one of the train room in the excavation stage, and those 4 round circles that you see there are then the tunnels that bring the tracks into the specific platform areas that would be built in that open space. Then the next slide shows a nuclear power plant for TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority's Browns Ferry plant. I worked on that for a while, and you can see, if you can make it out, the parking lots full of cars, just hundreds and hundreds of cars. That's an indication of how large the project team was, the number of people working on this project. So that was a pretty good-sized project as well. And then finally, 2 more slides here to show a project. I've managed several of these projects, and these were software development projects for electric utilities, where they would build a central control room, and then we would design the software that allows them to control their distribution systems, their transmission systems, including generating stations. And so my company did both the hardware as well as the software, and that was kind of exciting. This next slide just shows you briefly what the architecture of a system like that looks like. Don't expect you to make any sense of it or understand it. I just wanted to show you some of the fun stuff that I've been blessed to be involved in. So I'm not expecting you to grasp all this, but this profession, project management, is such a rewarding profession as you reflect on the benefits that your projects provide to those who had the visions to create and build great things. Now, lest you worry that you're not going to be working in this kind of a field, these exciting kinds of projects and large projects, although I wouldn't be surprised that you would, keep in mind any project that you might be involved in will create value for some customer or end user. There's a good reason for projects to be conducted. And to be a part of that should give you a measure of pride and satisfaction. Now let us consider one question. Why is project management so popular? You hear a lot about it, and perhaps that is what brought you here tonight. So if we look at this slide here, the chart above implies that people have come to recognize that there is actually a connection between managing projects well and profitability and productivity. And I like to illustrate the difference by the images on the bottom. So on the left side, you see a project, so to speak, where there is no good project management in place. The team is just pulling in all different directions without coordination, not very effective. But if you engage in good project management practices, you will get the result that is shown on the right side. Now let us look at the programs that we have to offer. I'll be talking about both of these programs, the Project Management Certificate Program and the Microsoft Project Scheduling class that we conduct. The certificate program, this is the one that teaches you what you need to know about managing projects of all types and sizes. Okay? This is your knowledge gathering. This is where you gain the knowledge. If you decide to get certified in project management, this program will provide you the knowledge that you need in order to get certified. The Microsoft Project Schedule, and I will go into more detail on this program here in a moment. Microsoft Project Scheduling is a class that teaches you how to use a critical tool in managing projects of any kind of complexity. Okay, so I'll be talking more about these. And just a quick little note on complexity and projects. We teach you how to manage large projects as well as small projects. And I'll get into a little bit more about that in just a moment. So this next slide illustrates the broad spectrum of project management, if you will. So if we just go around the circle real quick, we have finance, financial institutions. They are constantly developing new programs, new projects, new products. A lot of them have to do with process development as well as software application development. IT, of course, anything you can imagine for software development, the IT industry, they have just mushroomed over recent decades in the number of projects they engage on. Energy, those are the projects typically involved in building power plants, transmission lines, and working with electric utilities and all kinds of energy projects, wind farms, solar panels, and so on. Government. The government is engaged in many, many projects. For example, I was involved in managing the third segment of the MTA's Red Line. Okay, that's a piece of the subway that we have here in LA, but the MTA is a government agency. Similar with that project in New York, the Grand Central Station, that was the New York MTA, so also another government organization. Aerospace and defense, a huge, huge arena for projects, and a couple of the most exciting projects that are going to be coming about are the move into a more solid foundation on the moon, if you will. They're talking about establishing an actual habitable base on the moon, as well as the Mars landing. Just imagine if you could work on the Mars landing project, and then later on in your life you can reflect back and say, yes, I was a part of that. That's just totally, totally exciting, that whole concept. The healthcare industry, again, going through huge not changes, but expansion of programs and projects. And just imagine right now the projects that are undergoing due to the virus that we're dealing with. Healthcare industry has sent us students over the years by the dozen. So there's a lot of healthcare projects that are ongoing. And then finally, we have construction. Anytime you see anything physically being built, like a freeway construction that you're likely to see here in LA, a new warehouse, a building, a house, a hospital, an airport, or anything at all involves construction. So these are the kinds of industries that you might be engaged in if you're working in the project management arena. Now let me get into a little bit more detail on the certificate program. Okay, the project management certificate program uses PMI's Project Management Institute's PMBOK guide, and PMBOK stands for Project Management Body of Knowledge. And the guide is a book. We'll see it a couple of slides down. We're using currently the 6th edition, and that is the primary text. It is a required text for the program, and that is what this program is based on. So this guide is organized primarily by 10 knowledge areas with a total of 49 processes. The knowledge areas are the different functions of managing projects. You'll see them here in a moment. And the processes are just the detailed steps that people engage in to make things happen. So let's take a closer look. On this slide here, I'm showing 9 of the 10 knowledge areas. And the 10th knowledge area is integration, project management integration. Okay. So we have here schedule, cost, procurement, human resources, quality, risk, stakeholders, scope, and reporting in the middle. Reporting in the middle represents communications primarily. Okay. So these are the functions of what you need to do to manage a project properly. And they are all interconnected, they're integrated. So if something happens in one area, it is going to impact the other areas. Let's take a quick illustration, okay? Suppose you want to add some scope to the project, all right? Some additional work. You likely need to add additional activities to your schedule to cover that work. You're going to incur additional cost for that extra work that needs to be done. Perhaps we need to add more people and resources to the project. The existing team isn't large enough. Perhaps there is added risk arising from the added work. Maybe it could be that quality requirements are impacted by the added scope. Maybe you have to outsource more work through the procurement process, and perhaps more stakeholders become interested in the project. So while we cover each of these knowledge areas separately and in sequence, we're constantly focusing on how they're interconnected. So as we do things in one area, we will talk about, well, now how would that impact another area? Because they are indeed very interconnected. Okay, so here we show a picture of the primary textbook, the 6th edition of the PMBOK guide. Okay, the attribution in the slide just remind us that PMBOK guide and PMP and so on, these are registered marks within PMI. So we just want to make you aware of that. Okay. PMI is currently in the process of publishing the 6th edition. It will be significantly revised in its organization, and it's expected to be published until sometime in 2021. But until then, the 6th edition is still the basis for our program, as well as the certification exams, if you should go in that direction. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the program structure, who the intended audience for this program is, and what the outcome should be. There are 5 courses, and we've labeled them PMX 900, 901, 902, 903, and 904. PMX 900 is the prerequisite for the remaining courses. It sets the foundation for the overall program. The title is Introduction and Overview, so it gives you a complete overview. I like to think of it as the executive summary for the program. Okay. The overall courses have been designed and sequenced with a purpose, so we strongly recommend that you do take them in numerical order. We get feedback from students that I like the way you organize the information. It flows just logically. And so that reaffirms to us that we've scheduled and sequenced this correctly. If you have a scheduling challenge, you may take them out of sequence. Just be aware there's a slight, tiny little compromise from doing them out of sequence. Not a major deal, but we strongly recommend you do them in sequence. Okay, on the next slide, we talk about who should attend this. Okay, so this program is for the people who want to hone their project management skills. You want to become a better project manager. You want to learn what project management is all about. Maybe you want to enter the project management profession to enhance your chance for promotion or prepare for interviewing to a new position. And you want to gain the knowledge base for the PMP or CAPM exam preparation. Just a couple of quick anecdotes on this. I had a student get back to me. Actually, he was vying for promotion, and he got the job, and he was later told that he was the selected candidate for promotion because he was in this program. He was taking this program. So just the fact that he attended was a leg up over the competition. Another student said he was interviewing for a job, for a brand new position, and he got the position, and they later told him why he was the chosen candidate, and they said, you were the only interviewee, the only candidate that answered the question on resource leveling correctly. Now, resource leveling is a tiny little detail that we happen to be teaching, and so this little nugget of information landed him the job. This is just good stuff to hear, and this stuff happens all the time. So the upcoming classes are conducted on Wednesdays. Please refer to the information kit for detailed schedule information. Let's consider the objective. Okay? The primary objective of the Project Management Certificate Program is to enhance your skills in the practice of managing projects and to provide you with the understanding of project management as a scientific and professional business function, which means that it is structured based on an established body of knowledge and practiced with some degree of uniformity. It is based on PMI's PMBOK guide, as we mentioned earlier, and here's the all-important consideration. This program teaches you how to manage projects of all types and sizes. I get this question quite frequently, where students wonder, well, I understand the Mars landing, and I understand the big power plant, and I understand the MTA red line, but I don't work on those kinds of projects. I work on much smaller projects that last only several weeks or several months. What will this program do for me? So here is how that works. Because PMI will test your knowledge of managing large and complex projects for the certification, that is what we will be teaching you. We will teach you just how to do that, how to manage large projects. However, we constantly remind you that this material applies to any project. It's all scalable. So if you look at a scope statement for the Mars landing and you print it out, it's a huge stack of paper. Okay? If you look at the scope statement that you might generate for your 6-month project for your sister's wedding, right? The scope statement may fit on the back of an envelope, handwritten. So it's all scalable, but the principles cut across all sizes and types of projects. So I have so much faith in this program that I give my students an ironclad guarantee. At the end of this program, you will be a better project manager. I can say that because I see it happening and I know what this program teaches you. So if you're interested in project management, you are definitely in the right place. So let's look at some outcomes for the successful student. You're going to gain an understanding of the meaning of what a project actually is and what we mean by project management. You're going to appreciate the scope and purpose of project management. And here's a good one. You're going to learn what it takes to be a good project manager. If you're like me, perhaps you have come across or met or worked with several project managers, some who are great, some who are just good, and some who are maybe in need of this program, okay? But we're going to teach you what makes a good project manager. How do you become successful? You're going to grasp an understanding of all the knowledge areas and processes that we made reference to. And here's another important point. You're going to have an appreciation how the academics that we teach you relate to the real world. So that is it for the certificate program. At this point, I want to spend a few moments just briefly talking about the other program that we're offering, and that is the Microsoft Project Scheduling. This is a software tool that is designed to assist the project manager and his or her team in the effort to complete the project successfully. Specifically, the tool will help you develop a schedule of activities for your project. It will help you assign resources to help you manage those resources, analyze workloads, and help in hiring of additional staff if and as required. Here's a big one. It will help you track the team's progress in executing the project so that you get an idea whether you will finish on time or not. You don't want any surprises at the end of the project. It will help you manage the budget and track the actual costs. And very importantly, it will help you communicate with the many stakeholders who want to know what's going on with your project. So we created this as a separate course because it is fairly extensive and focused on the software itself. It would be simply too big to try to build into the certificate program. The benefit of someone like me teaching this course is that you not only learn how to be an efficient menu jockey in the software, but you will learn how to actually manage your projects using this tool. And it costs relatively little. This program teaches you not just a part, but everything from beginner to intermediate to advanced user for one price, and you will not find that price anywhere else. So this is indeed a good deal. I can make that claim. Quick look at who this program is for. Okay, you are in project management or in construction project management certificate programs, and you need training in the software because this tool will help you. Maybe you wish to gain proficiency in using Microsoft Project. You want to become a more expert user of the software. It can do a lot. Maybe you wish to enter project management profession at the entry level with scheduling software knowledge. I get that question a lot. People ask me, how do I get into the profession? Because all the project management job postings require experience as a project manager. If you know this tool, you will have that in your hip pocket, in your tool chest, so to speak, and you can then join a project as an assistant project manager, a scheduler, a cost engineer, something along those lines, and that is a great way to get your foot into the door of the profession. Maybe you want to train your project management scheduling planning staff in the proficiency of using the software, and you wish to learn how to configure the software for compliance with PMI's PMBOK guide and practice standard for scheduling, because there are a lot of options in this tool that that allow you to customize the way the software works. Okay. So we offer this in spring and fall. Our fall schedule has not been finalized. Stay tuned. That is still in the works. Now let us look at the course objective. Okay. You're going to gain an understanding of using the software, Microsoft Project, to manage your timelines and resources and costs effectively. It's designed to give you an understanding and confidence in using Microsoft Project version 2019 by providing individual hands-on participation in the demonstration of the software features and functions. Now it says 2019. Microsoft Project has not changed very significantly since version 2010. So if you're still using 2010 or 2013 or 2016, this program will still benefit you. There are minor little differences in the menu structure, not a big deal. The training manual, which by the way is very, very graphic, step-by-step, a lot of screenshots and illustrations, will show you how to manage your projects in any of those versions. This focuses on critical path method scheduling, CPM, which is by far the most common scheduling tool used. And we will make references to critical chain and agile, project management, how that might be accomplished, accommodated within Microsoft Project. Okay, outcome. So at the completion of this course, the successful student is going to gain appreciation of the complexity and nuances of the program, and to show you how to avoid common pitfalls in applying the software straight out of the box. There are a lot of options and you have to make the right selections, and I will teach you exactly how to set up the software to work it properly. Okay? Project does indeed still have some bugs in it, some downright mistakes. I'm not talking software bugs, I'm talking about wrong methodology. There's a couple of things that Microsoft Project simply does not do correctly, and I will teach you how to recognize that and work around it. So you're going to get a thorough command of the menu structure and all the features of the software. You're going to learn how to create schedules, to develop cost-loaded baselines, track progress, and to produce meaningful reports for your stakeholders so you can communicate with them. And of course, how to customize the software for your particular preferences. You'll be armed with an essential skill set for entering and working in the project management profession. So at this point, I want to thank you for your attention. I hope this has been helpful. Now let me turn this over to our host, and she will get to the Q&As and whatever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilkins. We appreciate all of this incredible, insightful information. We're going to come back to Mr. Wilkins for our Q&A segment in just a moment, but we want to take a quick look at the course delivery and the registration information. So almost all of CSUDH's extended education programs are being offered in an online format, which means that students are assigned online access through our campus IT services, and each student will need login credentials to access those materials and information online through our student portal, which is called My CSUDH. This portal includes Blackboard, our learning management system, where the course content is actually distributed, Toro Mail, which is our Gmail-based student email system, and the Zoom web conferencing tool. Now, these login credentials, which are your username, email, and password, are issued through our registration office approximately 2 to 3 business days after your registration in the course. Okay. Enrollment is now available from our extended education registration office Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you've taken a course at Dominguez Hills in the past 2 years, you may register online using your My CSUDH EDU account. We highly recommend that you register early to make sure that there's space in the course and that you allow yourself enough time to get your course information, your online access, and so on. Payment is due at the time of registration. You can pay for courses individually, or you can pay for multiple courses at once. Now, the federal WIOA, that's Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, provides funding for students who may be qualifying through unemployment or seeking career training. So for more information, please email WIOA, that's WIOA, at csudh.edu, or visit the program information website for more details. Now, if you need additional financial assistance, you can Google private student loan providers or connect with salliemay.com for student loan details. Okay. Again, we recommend very much that you register at least 1 week prior to the course start. Once you receive your login information, you'll be able to easily access the Toro student portal to connect with your class and check your Toro mail and personal emails frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You'll also want to be sure to test your account access in Blackboard and get comfortable with the layout of the class, such as where to find your announcements, your Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and the like. Now, let us know via the academic technology services through our campus if you're having any difficulty connecting. Okay, now we're going to get ready for your question and answer session. Your frequently asked questions are here, and we're going to start off with these warm-up questions just to get ready. So these questions we're going to direct to Mr. Wilkins, and in the meantime, if you have any additional questions, please pop them in the Q&A panel right now. So just to get started, a lot of students really want to know right off the bat, how do I get hired as a project manager or something in that project management field if I don't have a lot of project management experience?
Okay, so I kind of made reference to that in my discussion, but let's go over it again. Just a quick little bit of a bio information for myself. Many years ago, actually it was in 1979, I was in engineering for an engineering company, and one of the project management people, so to speak, asked me if I wanted to head up the engineering scheduling department. Well, my ears perked up because it says head up a department, become a department head. Oh, that sounds cool, right? And scheduling, yeah, I can probably handle that. So I said yes. Excuse me. And that was my entry into the project management profession. So how do you get in? If you don't have a lot of project management experience, try to get in as an assistant. A lot of projects, especially the ones that are the larger projects, they have assistant project managers. The project management team for the project consists of several people headed by the project manager or the project director, whatever title they may have. So look for positions like scheduler, cost engineer, quality manager, contract administrator. These are all some typical assistant project management positions. By all means, become proficient in using the scheduling software. That will be a huge tool. It's like applying for a carpenter job and you don't have any tools, no hammer, no saw, no chisels or anything, and they expect you to be a carpenter, and you say, well, do you have the tools? Anyway, so that's a great way to come in that way. I hope that answers.
Excellent, excellent. And kind of related to that, actually, I'm looking at one of the questions from Jason Okonkwo in the Q&A panel, and he's asking, I have 12 years as a safety manager for tenant improvement, residential and commercial manufacturing construction. My goal is to shift into project management role. Is this the appropriate program? Is this the right program for me?
I would most certainly say yes. Anyone that is looking to shift, to change careers, to shift into project management, regardless of what your background is, because this program teaches you, I hate to say everything about project management because that would be a little bit too brash, right? But it teaches you all the important, but I mean all the important things that you need to know about managing a project. So we talked about how to become a good project manager, how to control your budgets, how to make sure it comes in on time, how to make sure risks don't catch you by surprise and kick you in the butt, and so on. So this program, I would think, is definitely for you if you are seriously interested in joining the profession.
Excellent. I think he can appreciate that answer. So people always want to know a little bit about the details. Is there homework? What kind of coursework is involved with it? Is it strictly online, and how does that happen?
Okay. Here we come across that horrible H word, that
yes.
dirty word, homework. Yes, there is actually homework. Okay, I spent a little bit of time on the first day of class talking about how can you best learn, how can you best absorb. And one of my slides says the teacher opens the doors, but the student has to enter or walk through the door. Doing the homework is one of the things you do as part of entering or passing through the door. What I do is I divide the class into project teams, groups of 4 to 5 or 6 people, and they will choose a project that they will then pretend they're going to be executing, and that project becomes the basis for various activities and exercises that are done between the classes. Occasionally, there are a couple of standalone or single individual homework exercise assignments. It's not overwhelming. We do go over the homework at the beginning of the next class.
Excellent, excellent. So you did a great job of giving us the details about the PMBOK guide, but are there additional resources or textbooks that a student needs to buy or that are provided online? How are other textbooks and materials approached?
Okay, very good question. The PMBOK guide is the required text for the Project Management Certificate Program. Microsoft Project Scheduling Program also has a training manual that is a very detailed, very graphic, a cookbook style kind of a training manual. And once you're done with the course, that manual will serve you very well as a reference guide for as long as you're going to use Microsoft Project. That is also a required text for Microsoft Project Scheduling. Beyond that, we do not require you to buy any textbooks. I do refer students to Dr. Kersner's text, which is a very good reference. It's listed in the syllabus, and he's a renowned author, and he's done 12 editions of that particular textbook. I use some materials out of that textbook and make reference to it, but it is not a required text. If you have extra money you don't know what to do with, that's a good place to put your money and buy that text.
Okay, that's great. I think that covers the details for the resources. Now, what happens when a student has a conflict? Now, I know we're all online at this point in time, but every now and again there might be a situation. How do we handle schedule conflicts for our courses?
Yes, very, very good point. Things happen, right? We have a life, all of us have a life, and stuff happens that interfere with our best laid plans, and there will be occasional conflicts between a scheduled class and your availability. Since we have this program going on in several streams, some with overlap and some not with overlap, but there are other streams going on. If you have to miss a class, we work with you to find the next offering of that particular class, and you can then attend that class. And since Dr. Inamdar is teaching this as well as I am, if his class happens to be more convenient for you, you're very welcome and directed to attend that class as a makeup session. So we have these options. We've never, I don't remember ever there being a case where somebody had to drop out of the program because their schedule was conflicted, except for one. His company shipped it back to Brazil. And this is when we're doing this live class, so he had no option to go join us virtually.
Wow.
That was a pretty extreme case.
Yes.
But yes, we work with you in case of scheduling conflicts. I would not worry about it too much. The sooner you bring it up, the more options we have to resolve it.
And along those lines, is a student able to switch if they originally had a PMX course scheduled on a Saturday and they want to switch to one of the weeknight classes? How would that work?
All right. So since we teach this program on Saturday mornings as well as on weeknights, once you enroll in a class, one of the 5 classes, PMX 900, 901, 2, 3, 4, you're expected to finish that class with that same instructor. However, if at the end of 901, let's say, you decide, you know, your schedule just doesn't work well on either Saturdays, on weeknights, you can register for the next module in the other stream. So you can jump back and forth between, you know, from one class to the other, but not within the same class. So once you're enrolled in a class, you're expected to finish that. We allow you to attend the other stream on an emergency schedule conflict basis only.
Okay. And another question that we get is, what kind of certificate do I get? I can speak to this in regards of the physical certificate. So each student at the course completion or program completion is issued a print certificate. However, we've also gone digital. So now you have a digital print alternative as well that you can use to promote on your social media. You can share on your LinkedIn profile and so on. But Mr. Wilkins, can you give us a little bit of detail about that big selling point, that 30-second elevator pitch about why a certificate like this is so important?
Okay. The certificate is proof that you've been through this program. Remember the little anecdote where somebody was promoted because he was attending the program. People out there in industry, they're aware of this program. They know it exists, so they kind of understand what students are in for, and they value that. So when you get your certificate, I always tell my students, print it out, and then go out to the store and buy the biggest, gaudiest frame that money will allow, and frame that puppy and hang it on the wall for all the world to see, okay? Because this is a major milestone in your career when you finish this program. This is a biggie. It's not quite like a bachelor's degree or doctor's degree or anything like that by any means, right? But it is a significant milestone in your career development, in your skills. We do also offer PDU certificates. PDUs are professional development units that you need to acquire once you are a certified PMP with PMI. Every 3 years, you have to amass currently 60 PDUs to be recertified. We give you PDUs, or we allow you to file for the PDUs for these programs. We've got them coded per PMI's Talent Triangle, etc. But for that certificate, you get one certificate for each course, each of the 5 courses. Okay? You do need 100% attendance in order for us to award you that certificate. So that's a second kind of certificate that we offer.
Excellent information. Overall, of course, the all-important question is going to be, how much does something like this cost? So the current estimated cost for the 900 series, the Project Management Certificate Program series of courses, is approximately $1,500 for the tuition and a grand total of about $2,000 with the books and additional materials. And if you want a little bit of the extra details, please do double check in the chat panel and make sure you've clicked to open that info kit that we've shared in the chat. For Microsoft Project, the estimated cost total is about $539 for the tuition and a grand total of about $600. So that gives us a little bit of detail about the program cost. But now another really important question is, students want to know, how long do I have to complete a program like the full project management program? What does that entail?
Okay, the university's policy is that you have 12 months from the start of your enrollment to finish the program. We offer this multiple times throughout the year with spring classes, summer classes, and fall classes. So we're pretty confident that there shouldn't be any serious problem in finishing the entire program within the 12 months. If there's an extreme situation, like your company is shipping you out of town somewhere on a project for 6 months and puts a major gap in your schedule, we will work with you and we will bend this particular rule on an emergency basis if necessary. But the official duration or the official time frame is 12 months.
Okay, and we actually have just one last question because all of those questions were generally answered for the Q&A. But Talisha Payne in the Q&A asks, can she take the Microsoft class while being enrolled in the project management courses at the same time?
Very good question. Yes, you can, absolutely. So here is a quick observation on that. Some of the exercises towards the end, like in the latter half of PMX 903 and then in 904, you know, the back-end classes there, they would benefit if you already have the ability to use a scheduling tool, whether that is Project or some other scheduling tool. So if you take Microsoft Project Scheduling near the beginning or any time, that would help you in your later courses. Not essential, but it would be a help. If you are brand new to project management, you can still take the scheduling course because I touch on a lot of the project management topics, certainly the ones that you need to understand the scheduling tool. So again, I think you would be just fine to take it to take them concurrently.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we have covered quite a bit of information for this, and I know that probably a lot of you have a lot of questions regarding the the registration process and so on, but we want to make sure first that you know how to get in touch with us. So we've put a few links on the screen there, and we'll come back to this in just a moment. But your next steps essentially basically consist of contacting our registration office. The phone number is area code 310-243-3741, and you're going to click option 1 when you hear the music. Or if you've taken a class, like we said, if you've previously been enrolled at the campus, you can simply go to My CSUDH and register through your student portal, and all of your course information will be right there ready to go. If you have any additional questions regarding the program, any other programs that we offer here at Extended Education, feel free to email us at learn@csudh.edu or give us a call at 310-243-2075 and just let us know what we can help you out with. So we'd love to get your feedback on today's session. We work pretty hard to put these together, and we just want to make sure that we've answered all of your questions and that we provide you the services that you're looking for. So please let us know how we can improve by visiting our survey on bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback. And I will add this again at the end of the session. So this concludes the program information session, and we really want to thank you for coming out and joining us today. Feel free to connect with us online on our website, via our social media on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And remember to register early to get your spot in your preferred classes. We'll stay in the session for just a few minutes more to give everyone a moment to jot down last-minute notes, to download the information kit from the chat panel, and just to ask us, say anything that you want in the chat. And this recording will be available right after the session is completed. It'll be online and linked via our social media as well. It's already on Facebook now. When you're ready to leave, simply click the red leave button in the corner of your screen. And once again, thank you for joining us. Stay safe, and we look forward to working with you soon. Thanks again, everyone.